Hi, and thank you for purchasing the 1E4 Lifetime Repertoire Part 2. Great decision by you. In this course, we're going to cover 1E4 and now all the moves that are not a 1E5, which is covered in Part 1, or 1C5 Sicilian, which is will be covered in Part 3. So all the other major openings, and there are really a lot of them are really popular. There is, first of all, the French, the Caro-Kann, also the Pyrrhic defense with d6, and of course all these juicy, tricky sidelines like the Scandinavian with d5, the Alekhine with knight f6, and so on and so forth. But before we delve into chess, my name is Anish Giri, a top grandmaster and a big chessable author by now. I've recorded a bunch of courses already. I'm getting very experienced, and I'm trying to understand the community more and more. My mission has always been to record and produce courses that I will personally be proud of, that I will feel proud when my colleagues will look through the course and the variations, but at the same time are also suited for a wide chess audience and club players and amateurs. Now, it sounds like a mission impossible, but I think chess is a game that is really hard to play, but it's actually much easier to explain. I think you can understand good moves at already a reasonable entry level. I don't think you have to be a strong grandmaster to understand what is good and why. But obviously, to replicate that is another story, and that is something even the best players struggle with. So I believe this repertoire is suited for players from all the way up to all the way down. And the mission for my 1E4 repertoire has been to offer a sound repertoire. And there's even a sort of a concept behind the lines I'm choosing. I think probably most of the time I spent on the course was actually just brainstorming and making choices on what I would like to recommend. By now I have so many different weapons that I've played myself, that I've analyzed, that building a repertoire is pretty fast. What takes me much more time is to choose. And the approach has always been to go for lines where we develop our pieces quickly, usually also soundly, so grab the center, develop the knight, develop the bishop castle, and then slowly but surely build up an attacking position. And that is something I did with part 1 with the Italian against e4, e5, and in part 2 as well. I'm recommending these lines where we play in the center. We don't rush into it. We don't do many early gambits. We don't go for quick, unprepared attacks or cheap traps. We are going for a long-term, sound, yet very active and ambitious play. Now, how the course will be structured? First of all, a big part, of course, dedicated to two big openings, the Caro-Kann 4c6 and the French. In both cases, black is fighting for the center. And in both cases, we are going to grab space, advanced in the French and advanced in the Caro-Kann. The difference between the two is that in the Caro-Kann, black gets the bishop out, but loses more time. First of all, on the bishop move. Secondly, on the c5 break. And so here we have more of a development advantage. And in the French, we have to deal with the fact that the bishop on c8 is really poor. That's a big problem that black needs to solve, and while they are trying to solve that problem, they will once again lose a lot of time very often, and then we again have the advantage in development and the space in the center. Now, these two openings are major chunks. There's also a lot of attention paid on to the Pyrrhic defense. That can also arise via the e4 g6 move order. I'm going for this healthy and sound positional setup with bishop e2 castle, and here there is lots of options. They are covered in the Pyrrhic chapter. I deal with great detail with the Scandinavian. Here all the queen moves are looked at, mainly queen d6, queen d8 and queen a5, but of course also all the other side moves. A serious chapter is designated to the Alekhine variation, the knight f6 move. Now I propose to chase the knight and go for the very ambitious 4 pawns attack. Now this is not entirely in the spirit of the course in a sense. Usually I start off a bit more reserved, but against the Alekhine, I've analyzed it, and it seems that we can afford to build a strong center like this, and we are in time to back it up with our pieces, and eventually castle short anyway, because black spent just way too much time with the one piece. And so in this particular case, I'm recommending a very aggressive approach, which I think is also the most principled way forward. There is also a portion of the course dedicated to complete sidelines, such as 1b6, even 1a6. Surprisingly, believe it or not, I've faced a lot of these moves in my blitz and bullet practice, and it's not so easy to face if your opponent knows the plans and you don't. But I've really dealt with these systems, and I could see the results immediately myself. The next day after I finished these chapters of the course, I went online, and sooner or later I faced these people who play that, and I've enjoyed these games a lot more than before, and I got really good positions. So I think that's also important to deal with those things. Finally, from the openings, I forgot to mention, now there is also some delayed Philidors here, so the e5 system and the knight d7, and also e4, knight c6. Pretty much everything is covered in the course, and you got a good overview now how to study the course. Now there is, of course, the quick starter if you have less time, but eventually I hope you will look through the course. I'm really focusing on making sure you have only the necessary things. My favorite thing to do is to make the recommendations and files as simple as I can, not to give too many variations. I speak extremely fast, and I try not to use many unnecessary words, although speaking fast works better than using unnecessary words, as this very sentence already proves. But because of that, I do think if you have the time, it's worth going through the chapters and not just looking at the quick starter. The repertoire that I'm offering has been tested by myself a lot. I've played in a lot of my casual online games as well. I kept trying to find lines that are easier to play, that are healthy, that I can play very, very quickly as well. And I think finally the recommendations I give are as natural and as healthy as as it gets, basically, according to my own personal taste. So I'm really happy with my recommendations, and they're really based on my own personal experience, especially in quick chess, because I feel in quick chess is where my instincts match most the taste of of lesser experienced players. Because when I don't have much time to think, I go back to basics and base my play on very simple principles, and that's also something that we are all familiar with at this point, I guess. Now, enough talk. I think I gave you a good idea of what this course is about. Get started as soon as you can. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next chapter.